1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I am one of your hosts, Precious D.
And I am the other one of your hosts, Honeybee.
We are two best friends making our way through the history of kaiju movies. We started in 1933 with King Kong, and today we are up to the year 2021. And a little piece of homemade nonsense called Uktena, the horned monstrosity.
Uktena, the most vile horned serpent, not quite dragon, not quite lizard, maybe some human transformed by a shaman. Rage beast.
Supposedly based on some Native American stuff. Let's see. Cherokee, yes. The Uktena is a powerful, malevolent, and mythical horned serpent in Cherokee folklore. Often described as having antlers, scales that sparkle like fire, and a deadly crystal, the Ulunsulti, embedded in its forehead. Representing the struggle between good and evil, this keen-eyed, dragon-like creature is said to reside in deep water or mountain passes, possessing the power of prophecy and bringing success to those who can capture its crystal, though it is nearly impossible to kill, except by striking the seventh spot from its head. So these pictures look like a snake with antlers, and some of them he has wings as well, but that's not quite what we get in this movie.
We kind of get I was like, ooh, like Queen work. Uktena is a little bit zesty. I kind of think Uktena should be. I was like, is it a she? And then I was like, oh wait, no, it's supposed to be a he. But work queen, Uktena was giving me some real, good colors, good hair,
Okay.
little cuffs around the ankles and wrists.
Okay.
I was like, okay, work.
Okay. I mean, I appreciate...
Uktena's a little diva, that's all I'm
I
saying.
appreciate that it's a dude in a suit. I assume a dude.
Fuck yes.
It might be a lady in a suit. I don't know. I don't think the suit actor's listed here in the credits. This is very much a low-budget, homemade thing produced by father-son duo Dan Trenor and David Trenor. The cast is very small. Mark Bilker as Sheriff Pancho Bravo. That name is the best part of the movie. Kyle Brothick as Doc Collins. Norman Hughes as Colonel Tuttle. Kayla Rose as Dr. Gecko. And Jerry Royos as Jerome Greywolf. I do not have a proper summary of this movie, and I did not really take notes like I should have.
I did take notes.
Good.
I have quite a few notes.
So glad. So what do you have? Because not a lot happens.
Yeah, it's not a lot does happen, and I'll just tell you what the best things of this movie are. The best things of this movie is that in the year of 2021, we don't really get a lot of tiny toy towns, tiny toy tanks, person in a suit just destroying cardboard buildings. So I really, really loved that about this film. I will say the acting, atrocious. But it is just a bunch of dudes who are friends hanging out, fucking around and making cool, funny shit. So in a sense, I liked that about it. I really liked that it was just a bunch of old dudes and maybe two chicks, but that were just buddies, for some reason pretending to have really thick Southern accents, which was kind of weird. But and just like, you know, doing the things. But the best parts are definitely, you know, just the suit stomping around, the little toys being thrown about. It was just really good to see that, because we don't get to see that in 2021. I will say there does seem to be some CGI in this film, but it's weird because the only CGI that I really notice in the film is when they're like CGIing people into different backgrounds. They're like, oh, we're in an office now, but it's just like the person like floating kind of on top of the background with some other sign that they've printed and just like glued onto something, so it's like, this is the scene we're in. Really funny, just so funny. I really loved the just kind of silly friend vibe of this movie, that it's just so, you can't really take it seriously. And also another thing I really loved was Utenka's like little furry ankle cuffs and on her wrists, and her like gorgeous weave, and her little you know, diva vibes with her hand ray, I don't know what to call it. But yeah, there's also some random sound effects in this movie that I thought were placed very hilariously, like when the sheriff gets a boner for, oh, what's her face, and there's a boy yoing sound effect. Love that. Chef's kiss.
Right. Well, there were two ladies in the movie, but I only saw one listed in the credits. Right, there was an older lady.
Oh,
there was the young redhead. Right, she had red hair. Right. Who
I don't know, but she looked great in that dress. Body tea.
The movie was trying to tell us she was the hottest thing ever. She was all right, but the movie was definitely going auga, and she was being kind of flirtatious with the sheriff. But then the other doctor,
yeah, that's when they have the boy yoing sound effect, when she's like, "Sheriff, if you need anything else, let me know."
But I think she had a secretary or assistant or something who the other doctor asked out. He was like, "Oh, so you doing anything later? Are you doing anything later?" Something like that. So,
and she was like, "Maybe." Wink, wink, wink.
No, sir.
Sorry.
Okay, so we start the movie. I'm gonna try to remember some of what I saw, because this movie just went in one ear and out the other.
The movie starts with like someone just giving us the like lowdown of what happened. Like they're kind of giving us like the legend, you know, and they're like, Utenka, when he's asleep and he's hibernating, there was peace for many years because he was transformed by this shaman. He was a man, but now he's not quite a lizard and not quite a dragon. There's like this whole legend. But now there's been a curse. And someone put a curse on this like rage beast. And the curse has driven him into the cave. And he's trapped by this curse, and so he sleeps, and for many years there's like lots of peace, and the people don't even know he's there. But then people start looking for gold and shit, and people start like colonizing, and like that awakens the beast, because he's been all like cool and chill, but now people are digging and shit, and they like basically let him free, kind of let him out of his cave. They have awakened the beast basically by doing all this fuck shit that humans have done, right? Yeah. So it's cool that we kind of get that too, like OG kaiju movie of like the humans have fucked shit up so bad and now a giant monster is coming to step on your tiny toy town. I really like that we kind of stuck with that, you know, little that's a good reason for a kaiju to come, in my opinion. But then yeah, we get some like, you know, we get like two different groups of people going to this cave. I think two guys are like workers, and then two other guys are like hunters. And they both of those groups of people, which I do not know why they're trying to sound like they have this really deep Texas twang or like Southern twang, and it's just so thick. I don't know if it's just like they're acting. I don't know, but it was so funny to me. I'm like, why are they trying so hard for this? But yeah, he kills both groups of people. And we kind of get that cool thing too, where like the kaiju, you know, we only see like a tail or like a hand, or like we don't really like see the whole thing yet, which was kind of cool. But you can tell it's like a big puppet at this point. Like I wasn't sure if it was a guy in a suit yet, but very like practical effects. puppet type shit. And I have a note here that's like, this movie's just a bunch of old dudes. What the hell? But it's so funny. In a very like wholesome way. And then also my next note is why are they CGI'd into every scene?
Yeah.
Miss Kane, that was the girl in the dress. When she's like, Sheriff, my eyes are up here. So yeah, they go to Miss Kane basically to get some information of like, how do we kill this fucking thing? And she's like, oh, there's this like old Native American legend about this giant lizard man. It's kind of like a big horny toad, because the sheriff has gone out there with the missing people, and he puts his hard hat next to this picture of like the footprint, and he takes it to Miss Kane, and he's like, what do you think about this footprint? She's like, oh my god, it's a giant horny toad. And he's like, a giant horny toad? And she's like, yeah. And they eat ants, but one of this size, they're probably going to be eating, you guessed it, people. So what are we gonna do about it? And then, you know, we get the boing side effect. Anything else I can help you with, Sheriff? And then the sheriff is like CGI'd into a room somewhere with like a game on the TV, and in the next scene he's like on the phone, and the mic the mic comes into the screen. Did you see this?
Yes, but it seemed like they did it on purpose as a joke.
Yeah,
because he looks up at it.
He acknowledges it. He acknowledged it as like part of a bit, and I was like, it didn't quite land, but I appreciate the vision. But then we get a lot of, you know, kaiju over the city shit. Utenka looking over the city with her furry little ankle cuffs, just prancing around in her, like, all of her glory. Sorry, his. I'm not trying to misgender or anything. I'm just saying, very sassy. Utenka was like a sassy little kaiju, and I'm here for it. But yeah, cardboard buildings, a Kong eye in a window, like a woman, which this woman cracked me up too, because we get the whole like Kong eye in the window of her like watching, and this woman is like singing, and she even sings a song where I was like, ooh, they probably should not be singing this song, because I'm sure they didn't anyways. But then she sees Utenka and just turns around and starts cat 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 cat, like hysterical, just pulls out her little gun and just starts blasting. And then, you know, more destroying the city. The tiny toy town just makes my heart so freaking happy. If you've been listening to this show for a while, you know that like that is kind of when we first started this show, that was one of my most favorite things about all of the movies we were watching, was just making these cities, because you can kind of really tell that they're toys, and I just love that. It really just scratches something in my brain that's just, it's so good. So I was so grateful that we got a lot of that in this movie. It made it bearable for me, honestly, to get to see, you know, not a lot of computery effects, just someone throwing toy cars around and cardboard buildings. The acting definitely trash, but the kaiju effects really made the movie worth it for me. And then I'm pretty sure I dozed off because I like opened my eyes or something. Like the next thing I remember is this guy like saying like, who's the crackpot now? And I was like, what the fuck are we doing? What did I miss? I somehow missed some of it. But then we meet Jerome Greywolf, who, you know, I don't really know what to say about this. Seeing this guy, basically the sheriff, Jerome Greywolf explains that like we've awoke the beast and now he descends upon us because we've just done like the worst shit as humans to the land, and he's also like, you did all of this shit to my people and now you need my help. And then the sheriff starts getting a little like spicy and kind of like makes some racist remarks about like smoke signals and like some Native American jokes, and then gaslights Jerome Greywolf into like trying to like help and being like, we should all just kumbaya, but he just goes about it in a really disgusting way, and I was like, ew, sheriff, you piece of shit. But anyways, it does work, and Jerome Greywolf does like, okay, I'll help you guys, even though sheriff is like, this is really gonna put a blemish on football season, and I'm just like, ugh, just die already. Someone step on Utenka, girl, step on this fucking greasy man. I hate him. But so we get to you know, we figure out, Jerome Greywolf tells us, oh, Utenka like feeds off of rage, which I thought was hilarious, but we like get it. And he says something really profound that I was like, oh, this is actually really good, because he says rage has become a currency, even an identity. And I was like, damn, that is so real in like our world right now with everything happening. And just like, I was like, oof, okay, just drop a fucking line in there for me, okay, SRS, you like bastards. But it was really good. And then we find out that Utenka has a power beam in the hand, which was terrible and also hysterical, and I loved it. And that was really, I kind of fell off after that point and was just kind of like watching the destruction and the things happening, and it ended kind of like you would expect it to. But yeah, so that's all I gotta say about Utenka.
I don't have too much to say either. I did want to mention early on, a couple of construction type worker guys with hard hats go missing, and somebody calls the sheriff to say they're missing, and he's like, they're probably out drinking or sleeping off a drunk or whatever. Yeah. And then a couple of hunters don't show up, and he's like, they're probably just drunk. And I thought he was doing a really shitty job as the sheriff.
Yeah, he sucks. He's like the worst part of the movie for me.
Yeah, but then the movie ends with they go to the native guy. I guess he's a shaman or a medicine man. I don't think anyone explicitly states this. But he just prays for the monster to go away, and then it does. And I was like, well, yeah. Jesus, that's... I mean, we've seen a lot of crazy kaiju plans over the years, fountains of blood and electric fences and things. I've never seen anybody just go, let's just pray to God for it to go away. And maybe it will. As long as it's a native thing and I call God the Great Spirit, maybe it'll work. And it does.
Fart noise.
Yeah, so I was not a fan of that. That was just some nonsense. Some bullshit. Yeah, there's a lot of phone calls. There's a lot of just looking up at the thing and screaming. We do have a guy in a suit. I appreciate a guy in a suit. So that's...
Love a guy in a suit. We did get something. Also like a bloody arm being like drug off the screen, which I was like, woo! Like, hell yeah!
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is going to be a short one, folks, because we don't have a whole lot to say about it. It's
also not a very long movie either.
Yeah, it's what it is. So are we ready to get to our ratings?
I can't want to see anything else to say about it.
I guess I should mention this was released by SRS Cinemas, an acquaintance of the show. I don't know if we can go so far as to say a friend of the show, but an acquaintance of the show. And this is typical.
Yeah, we've done other things. Well God,
Wagnami,
Space Monster, Wang Magui.
Yeah. So they
yeah.
They go between releasing hard to find things that they've unearthed and just homemade cheap crap like this, and some stuff that they've even commissioned people to make. So they've got a shit ton of Amityville-based movies, a bunch of shark-based movies, and various random kaiju movies. Killer Toilet, I think, is one of their movies.
Fuck yeah. There's definitely a market for these movies. There's definitely like a group of people who loves this type of shit, and they are killing it with those people.
That market is Tubi and Pluto. We got to keep those streamers filled up. Well, Honeybee, what are you going to rate Uktena, the Horned Monstrosity?
Man. I feel like because of the destruction of the tiny toy town and the person in a suit, that means something to me, and so I'm gonna say it's a 2.
I'm giving it 1. I did not even like it that much.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. There were things I loved about it, so yeah, a 2 for me.
So there you go, folks. If you want to watch it, if you're a completist, it's on Tubi. So there you go. What is next week's movie? Next week we have Troll. Make sure you're looking, if you want to watch it before next week. It's on Netflix. Make sure you're looking at the 2022 movie, not the other movie. This is a Norwegian movie about a giant troll, not 80s or 90s movie about a troll in an apartment building. That is something else altogether.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, well, okay. At 1986. So, Troll 2 is a famously bad movie. And the subject of the documentary, I believe the title is Best Worst Movie Ever.
Oh.
So, Troll is a movie about a troll, like I said, a troll in an apartment building. And it has Julia Louis-Dreyfus and her husband, Brad Hall. I think they were just dating at the time, but they are in it. Some other people. Charles Band is in it. The lead character is named Harry Potter Jr. Noah Hathaway.
Oh.
And then there was a movie that I believe was originally titled Goblins, or it should have been titled Goblins, that was repackaged as Troll 2 because I guess somebody thought Troll was enough of a success that people would want to see Troll 2. I don't think it was that much of a success. But Troll 2 is completely unrelated to Troll. And the creatures in it are explicitly called goblins in the movie, not trolls. But I just say this to clarify, because we're about to watch Troll, a Norwegian movie, and then not too long from now we will be watching Troll 2. And you want to make sure you watch the correct Troll 2 and not the one from the 80s. So there you go, folks. More than you needed or wanted to know about troll movies. Thanks for joining us. As always, please like and subscribe and rate and review. Tell all your friends, tell your enemies. Until next time, I have been Precious D.
And I have been Honey Bee.
Remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements.
And please, don't misuse science.
We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please consider rating and reviewing us on your podcasting platform of choice. You can leave us a message and find links to all our things at mmftg.com.